In business, pretty much every single interaction you have with a customer, it's like a fork in the road. One way leads to loyalty, and the other, well, that leads to a lost customer. So today, we're going to break down those two journeys. And what's really important here is how you are the one in control of the direction.
So let's just start with a really direct question for you. I want you to think about the last time you dealt with a customer. You sent them down one of two paths. So, which one was it? Because that choice, whether you made it consciously or not, really does determine everything that happens next.
And that's really the core idea we're digging into. See, customer satisfaction, it's not some accident. It's definitely not just luck. It is a choice. Every single interaction, I'm talking from a simple click on your website all the way to a support call, is a crossroads. It's a point where you, the business, decide their final destination. Are they going to be satisfied or dissatisfied?
So on one side, you've got this path to satisfaction, right? That's the journey that creates those loyal fans, the ones who stick with you no matter what. And then you've got the other path, the path to dissatisfaction. And that's just a frustrating road that ends exactly where you don't want it to, with negative reviews, angry complaints, and, yeah, lost business. The two destinations, they couldn't be more different.
Okay, so to really get a handle on how to create happy customers, we've actually got to do something that sounds a little backward first. We need to look at the opposite. We have to walk down that path to complaints. Because honestly, knowing where all the traps and pitfalls are is the only way you're going to learn how to avoid them. So what is customer dissatisfaction, really? It's not just about a customer having a bad day. It's a very specific outcome. It's what happens when your methods, your interactions, just completely fail to meet their basic expectations. And this is the moment where things can start to escalate. This path to dissatisfaction, it's built one bad step at a time. It might start with something small, failing on the basics, like a late delivery. Then it gets worse, with maybe some inconsistent service or just terrible communication. All of a sudden, the customer feels totally ignored. And the final nail in the coffin? Their issue is just left unresolved. Every single one of these missteps just pushes them further and further down the wrong road.
And here's the real consequence, and it's summed up perfectly in this simple but super powerful quote. Dissatisfaction might lead to customer complaints. Now I want you to really focus on that word, might. It's not a guarantee, right? It's a risk. It's a gamble you are taking every single time a customer feels let down.
All right, so enough of the doom and gloom, right? We've seen the map of what to avoid. Now let's completely flip the script and start looking at the blueprint for success. How do we actually guide our customers down that other path? Okay, the most important thing to get your head around is this. Happy customers are, for all intents and purposes, engineered. They don't just happen by accident, no way. They are the direct result of a really carefully designed experience, one that's built on just a few key characteristics.
So what are we really talking about with customer satisfaction? Well, you can think of it as this state of perfect alignment. It's that sweet spot when your service lines up exactly with what the customer needs and what they expect. And it's not really about these big, grand gestures. It's about consistently, reliably delivering on your promises, time and time again.
And these are the hallmarks of a customer who's on the right path. And what's cool is you can see how they build on each other, right? So when a customer feels valued and you're consistently meeting their expectations, they start to trust you. And that trust, that leads them to believe that their needs are actually a priority for you. And that means that even when a problem does pop up, they have faith that you're going to solve it effectively. This is that positive feedback loop you're aiming for. Okay, so we've got these two paths, right? And they lead to two wildly different outcomes. So why does this choice matter so much? What's the big deal? Well, it all comes down to what might be the single most important metric for any business's survival: customer retention.
The stakes really couldn't be any clearer. You take the path to satisfaction, your customers feel valued, and that leads to retention and loyalty. You take the path to dissatisfaction, they feel ignored, and that leads straight to complaints and churn. It's a super simple equation, really. The outcome you get is a direct result of the path you put them on in the first place.
So at the end of the day, real customer retention isn't just about having a great product. It's so much more than that. It requires a complete strategy. You've got to know the blueprint for satisfaction, and just as important, you have to have that map of all the pitfalls that lead to dissatisfaction completely memorized.
So, as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with this thought. Your very next interaction with a customer, it could be an email, a sale, a support ticket, whatever, that is another choice. It's another crossroads. So the question is, which path are you going to guide them down?